Ladies and gentlemen, here we are once again. In this case, we are going to catch up with Guillermo Izquierdo, vocalist and guitarist for Spanish metal band Angelus Apatrida. Angelus Apatrida is going to release Aftermath, their brand new album, which arrives on October the 20th by Century Media Records. Guiche, nice to meet you. How are you, mate?
Hey, how are you doing? Pretty good, thank you.
I'm really good. I'm really good. Nice to meet you. Well, Gisha, after the band's eponymous album Angelus Apatrida, which reached #1 in Spain, now we got Aftermath that arrives on October, and in the middle of that, you are touring across Europe. You have toured in the US, so I want to ask you, it's a very intense but a happy time for Angelus Apatrida, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Especially after what happened with the pandemic, after losing a lot of times, like almost 2 years for a band like us. So yeah, we decided to do as much as possible and tour as much as possible. So this is why we were touring a lot during the last 2 years, of course. Um, and after that, it was like we were just thinking that it was time for to record a new album, and this is why we started working on Aftermath, which was mostly composed on the road during the tours because we were touring a lot. As you say, we were touring Europe. We were doing a lot of festivals during these 2 past years, and we toured the U.S. twice and Canada as well. So yeah, we got plenty of new ideas, plenty of new songs to put down and write down. So we did it after the end of the club tours in Spain by the end of January of this year.
Yeah.
We just took the months of February and March and sitting down, trying to get out of our heads everything that we were trying to put all together, putting it on the computer and writing it down, and we entered the studio in April. So yeah, it's mostly what we were doing the last 2 years after the release of Angelus Apatrida.
Okay, Gisha, regarding the songs, I really like To Whom It May Concern. I think it's a future live classic of the band. You did a really great job between you and David playing guitars. What can you say about this song? It has some kind of Metallica's Welcome Home Sanitarium intro, some kind of that feel.
Yeah, it's actually I would say that this is one of my favorite songs right now. I think that actually these days I could say that maybe it's my favorite song. I'm really proud of what we did with this song because it came completely naturally. This was the last song we composed, we wrote for this album. We got like different briefs and different things, and we were not able to put them all together. So David came with this idea with the harmonics and all that stuff. Like, yeah, sounding a bit like old school. What it started like becoming a small ballad, it finally become something bigger, like one of the longest songs we ever did. It's
Yeah.
almost 9 minutes, but it's completely dynamic and it got a lot of different changes. I really love it. It was a challenge actually for myself. Try to do that kind of vocals as well. It's something that I never did before. Of course, I did sing some clean vocals before, some melodic vocals. Of course, we got plenty of songs like that since our beginning. We got a lot of melodic songs like this, but it was kind of a challenge for me, and I'm really proud of the result. I really like the result because it reminds me when I was a teenager, the
Yeah.
early 90s, when I was a pre-teenager, I was still a kid, and I was listening to bands like Alice in Chains, Say No More, that kind of stuff, mix it with heavy metal, like you say, like Metallica or
Yeah.
Annihilator, other bands like that, because I listen to a lot of different music nowadays and before when I was a kid as well. So it really reminds me, especially the middle part when I don't know if you watched the video,
Yeah. Yeah.
when I fall into the lake
Yeah.
that part really reminds me my childhood when I was listening to those bands, and it is still makes me feel like goosebumps. You know, like I don't know. I really like it. It's
Like,
awesome, and I think that
yeah,
David has made one of the greatest solos ever. It's
yeah,
incredible. It's
agree with
really,
that.
really
Yeah,
incredible.
that's great.
So, it is. We were so surprised because, as I told you, the album was already finished, and but there was this part, and it's okay. Let's work on this, and finally it became one of the best songs of the album. So really happy that it came like this, and yeah, of course, it's like there are a lot of influences that like the classic heavy metal bands. But I told you, in my opinion, I think that there are more influences from other bands, like I told you, Alice in Chains, or that kind of stuff. That makes a perfect fit and perfectly fit all together, and well, it's I
Yeah.
know it doesn't sound it's me who is saying that all of that, but I really love that song. It's my favorite one. So yeah, I have to be honest, and this is
Okay, okay. Well, Gisha, last year you played at the legendary Whiskey A Go Go in Los Angeles. So, how did you feel when you saw the name of your band there on the marquee?
yeah, yeah, exactly. That was one of the things that I was waiting more the most. I mean, I remember just entering LA, and we were entering from the north, and we
Yeah.
were entering by Hollywood, and it was like once we were in Sunset Boulevard, I was like, dude, and it's funny because it's I've never been in LA before, but it was like I knew the place because I was playing a lot to Grand Theft Auto, to GTA 5,
Yeah.
and so it's super similar to the game. So I knew where was the whiskey, and yeah, it's just as soon as we got the corner and we saw the corner, it was like, wow, watching your name over there up there in the marquee was like, what the fuck is going on, man? So this is the real shit. Yeah, it was incredible. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Being there and watching your name there, that was so cool.
You were all of you guys. You were like, qué guay esto, joder.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, Gisha, well, the album features guest appearances from Jamie Jasta from Hatebreed, Todd from Queensrÿche, and two of your fellow countrymen, I mean, Shohai in vocals and Pablo Garcia from Warcry. So I wanted to ask you about the song on one hand, and on the other hand about this guest, because it's clear that Angelus Apatrida plays thrash metal, but there are many influences of the band members. I know, for example, that Victor Valera, for example, like Héroes del Silencio. What
Mhm.
about that song in particular, and what about your band influences?
Yeah, it's like we play heavy metal, we play metal, but of course it's something closer to thrash metal. But it's like we've been influenced. As I told you before, we're listening to heavy metal music, to rock music, to different other
Yeah,
styles, even out of metal. We listen to a lot of different bands and styles as well since we were kids. And for example, in my case, I'm a huge fan of hip hop and rap as well since I was a kid as well. So this is something that I wanted to do for a long time. So High is one of the lead singers of the most famous rap band in Spain. So he's
yeah,
like a rap star here. We are close friends, and he really likes metal, and he likes Angelus Apatrida as well. So this is something that we were talking about for a long time, doing something together, like trying to mix again, like doing a crossover, like in the early '90s, like bands like Anthrax did with Public Enemy, for example, that kind of thing.
yeah.
And of course, I'm a huge fan of hardcore. New York hardcore is one of my favorite genres as well, and Hatebreed since the beginning. I'm in love with Hatebreed. So when I had the chance to meet Jamie and start talking to him, and sharing impressions about music, it came so naturally that I asked him to join the new album and sing for the song. And he said, of course, yes, I really like your music, and I would like to do it. So it was like really easy to do that. The same with the rest of the collaboration, with the rest of the guest appearances. But yeah, it's like, I mean, I love music, and I listen to, I don't know, hundreds of different styles
kinds
and
of stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I could tell you that I could be listening to Sepultura, but I could be listening to Adele as well, or to Public Enemy, or I don't know, Rammstein, or Suicidal Tendencies, and then I'm gonna listen to Katy Perry or Taylor Swift, or Eros and Silencio, of course, or other bands. I don't know. I don't care. I really like music, since I was a kid. Of course, metal music could be my favorite, together with punk rock and hardcore and hip hop. But I also like pop music and that kind of mainstream thing. So there are many artists that I really like I told you, like Taylor Swift or Katy Perry, that kind of thing. That I really like it. Why not?
Okay. Guille, I understand that this is the last album you have under contract with Century Media Records. So will you continue with them?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, we signed an extension of the contract for the next years and for the
Oh,
next
great.
albums. Yeah, we already did it. It's the second time that we are extending a contract, so it thinks it means that both parts are happy with each other. So yeah, it happened like a couple of months ago, something like that. Yeah, it's so we're so happy to be working with these guys, and yeah, it's being part of the Century Media family. It's a huge pleasure, a huge honor. So yeah. Actually, this was going to be the last one with them after the extension we signed a couple of years ago, 3, 4 years ago. And now we signed another extension, another contract for the next years and the next album. So yes.
Okay, awesome. So, Guille, Angelus Apatrida started in the new millennium in the year 2000, just at the time when records stopped being sold and the whole thing of downloads and social networks and more appeared. So, how do you look? I mean, what's your vision about the music industry today in 2023?
Well, everything changes so much, and when we started 23 years ago, we were just kids. I mean, this is the first band we ever did, with the first band we were playing together when we were kids, when we were 15 years old. So the things changed a lot. Yeah, I remember those years. I was a music enthusiast, and I'm still a music enthusiast as well, of course. But I couldn't buy all the albums I really like it. So of course I was not downloading, because for those years I didn't have internet yet. But I was like copying, like, of course,
Yeah.
things that we were doing since we were kids, like copying tapes or recording from vinyl to tapes. I got like most of my tapes are like, they are not original, of course.
Yeah, the famous MP3 records. Yeah, that we all
Of
copied.
course.
Yeah.
So when all the MP3 thing started sharing on internet, and when I had my first computer and I had my first internet connection, I started to download, of course, a lot of albums and all the stuff. And this is the way, I think this is something that really helped to bands like us to spread all over the world. It was like a double-sided weapon. It's like, for one hand, it was not very good for the music industry, but on the other hand, it was very good for other bands to become
Yeah.
popular and famous. So nowadays, the things changed a lot, but records are still being sold. People are still buying records. Not so many like before, like 20 years ago, but they do still, especially in rock and heavy metal music. There is still that kind of how to say it, like ritual
Yeah.
of going, or
Yeah.
okay, maybe you buy it over internet, but you get it, and they feel the ritual of getting especially the vinyl. You watch the cover, and meanwhile you're listening to it. So I'm really happy that this is still happening, and despite what the major labels and the major artists want to do, which is get rid of physical albums.
Copies. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really hope it doesn't happen, because of course nowadays the mainstream popular artists most of them they don't sell even a copy, one copy, but they are like they got like hundreds of millions of streams every day. It doesn't happen on heavy metal yet, and I really hope that things will stay the way they are right now, because it's like getting a book. It's like, of course you can get like electronic books and all that stuff, and you can get like PDFs and from internet. But I think it's not the same like having an actual real book like this. You can smell, you can. It's the same like having an album. It's like. Particularly, I don't like much the CD format. I prefer the vinyl, but this is still something that you can touch, you can smell. Of course, you can listen to. And I got a collection of vinyls myself, and I really like to listen to vinyls. And of course, I got subscriptions to Spotify and stuff, and I listen a lot music in Spotify. But I think it's something that can exist with each other. I think it's something that. So I really hope that it won't finish. But yeah, comparing like 20 years ago, it's so different. The music industry, we all know. But hopefully it will stay the way it is, and it will not change too much, at least in rock and metal music.
I think that it's okay with social media, but nothing at all replaces live music, face-to-face experience, like musicians playing, and you as an audience, as a public, seeing your favorite band.
Yeah, exactly. This is another important thing that will never change. I was talking about this in an interview before. It's like what's gonna happen when there won't be more bands, more rock or heavy metal bands playing in stadiums, and it's like I don't care. I don't believe that we will ever play in a stadium, but to be honest, it's nothing feels like behind from face to face with a guitar player or the singer in a big venue. Like, okay, we can play in big venues, and it's still a very, very good sensation that way. So it's like playing in big stadiums, like playing in very big festivals. There is like almost 10 or 20 meters in between you and the audience. It's not the same. So this is something that will never end.
Same deal with AI. Inteligencia artificial, artificial intelligence. There are a lot of worries about that, but nothing can replace human beings playing with.
Of course. I think that all the gear we got nowadays with artificial intelligence, I think it's very good for us, like a civilization, of course, and it's very good if we know how to use it in our own profit and in a very good profit. But it will never replace an artist. It will never replace a musician. It will never replace a photographer or a drummer. No, nothing. It's good having this like something to help us for improving ourselves or learning more and all that stuff. That it's not something that will replace. Or I really hope it won't happen. That it will replace any artist, especially because art comes from conscience, and this is something that okay, maybe we will have artificial intelligence with conscience, and it will happen like in Terminator 2,
John Connor.
Yeah, exactly. But until that, there is something that computers will never have, and it's like conscience, and it's having a soul and a heart and feelings, and this is something very important for artists, having for music or paintings or photograph or whatever. It's there's a huge difference. Of course, you can do whatever you want with intelligence, artificial, but it's not gonna be the same.
Okay, Gisha, 3 or 4 more questions. Well, you self-produced the album again. Do you feel that this creative process has strengthened the band relationship, not only musically, but also on a human level?
Yeah, absolutely. It's we're together 23 years, and it's very difficult for any kind of relationship to be in so many years together. Not only in a band, like friends, or like in a marriage, or in a work group. So it's very important for us to work the way we work For example, we try to have our own space. We try to have our own time alone with our people. This is why we barely rehearse. We don't rehearse normally. We just rehearse like nowadays. We're rehearsing a couple of days a week in order to learn how to play all together the new songs, of course, and trying to have them like a clockwork.
Yeah.
But normally we don't rehearse at all. Never.
Oh.
It could happen like in 2 or 3 years if we're touring with the same album, we're not rehearsing at all. Actually, we live in different cities, and I think it's very healthy for the relationship. Of course, we're still friends and family and all of the stuff, but it's really important to sometimes keep that kind of distance. And then when we go on a new record and we go to the studio, it's
all fresh.
Yeah, it's all fresh, and there's no problem, right? I mean, we're every day communicating each other via WhatsApp or email or wherever. So there's no problem at all. Everything is so clear, and everybody knows what they have to do. I think it's really a really healthy relationship that way. So yeah, we produce everything, we do everything by ourselves. Everybody's learning, and everybody's rehearsing at home. I mean, we all do things like this, but we try to save what I mean. We spend a lot of time together on tour with a long time. So it's like sometimes we need to stay like a bit separated to keep this relationship good and very healthy. And yeah, for the last 3 records, we are producing the album ourselves, and I think we're doing a good job with that, and especially with our technicians, with our engineers as well. We're doing a really, really good job all together. The team is really, really good. Also, when we are touring, I'm really happy about that. Really, I think it's what makes this still a healthy and unique relationship.
Yeah, Guille, that was one of my questions, because when you tour extensively, you have some pros and cons, and maybe the cons of touring a lot is that sometimes artists experiment some kind of burnout, some kind of stressful thing. So how do you avoid that thing? What do you usually do on the days off of touring?
Yeah, as I told you, depending on the day off, if we're still all together, it's like, and if we're traveling, it depends. Sometimes we all want to go out together, have for a walk or something like that. But normally, we try to, if we're not touring, and we are each one of us at home, we do, as I told you before, we normally stay with our families, and we stay with our friends, because we're friends in between, and we have all friends in between. But it's one of us. They go with we have our own friend circle, you know. So it's like, this is what we do the most when we are not touring. But I think that secret, let's say a secret for that, not having problems and not having someone burn out or something like that, is that, of course, the most important thing is that this is our job. So this is our main job. This is the way we get the money. You know, so everybody knows what to do in this situation. And of course, there's no problem with egos. There's no problem of that kind. I think it's really easy. Everybody is in the same direction, you know. So there's no problem at all. And of course, the same way with our families, with our wives and our girlfriends. There's no problem with that. They know that this is sometimes it's a hard work when you have to stay 1 or 2 months out of home, for example, or every weekend during a period, something like that. Sometimes not everybody is prepared for that, of course.
Yeah.
But we are very lucky that our partners, our girlfriends and wives, they are really into that for a long time already, and supporting us, and our family supporting us so it makes things easier. So there's no kind of external pressure for that. Now, sometimes there are kind of pressure that makes some musicians leave the band or try to lower the touring dates and all of the stuff. But in our case, we are very lucky that our partners and our girlfriends and wives to support us perfectly. and we can do this. Of course, there will be some time, maybe when we will be 55 or 60 years. Hopefully, we will be still touring with 60 years. But I really hope that we will be touring less, and so we can earn the same money touring less. Like all bands do. I mean, I don't want to stay all the time of my life touring and traveling. I really want to stay with my people in my place and enjoying life as well. But at the same time, this is one of the best jobs in the world, and I'm so happy that this is our job. So it's like, it's not like living the dream, but of course, it's my
It's what
dream,
you love.
and I'm yeah, of course, it's what I love, and it's what the only thing I know how to do right now. I was a graphic designer many years ago. Nowadays, if I have to change my work, I don't know how to do anything else but play music and write music. So I'm really happy and very thankful that I can have this like my full job. So and try to keep it healthy, like I told you before, for as many years as possible.
Okay, Guille. Well, your band grew up you're a band from Albacete, and well, in some ways, there's a common thing. People tend to think that you have to be in a band that comes from big cities. For example, in the case of Spain, from Madrid or Barcelona. In Argentina, a band from Buenos Aires, but you're a band from Albacete. So what can you say to that kid, a kid who is growing up and comes from maybe a small city or a small town and want to go out to the world? I mean, to the world of music.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe that there is any kind of advantage to be living in a big city like Madrid or Barcelona, despite of, for example, that you got an airport close to you. I don't think what could be the advantage for that, and especially if you live in a city like Barcelona. Okay,
Yeah.
Barcelona is close to the rest of Europe, but it's really far away from the rest of Spain if you want to tour Spain, for example. So in that case, we were in a very good position because Albacete is in the southeast, but it's close to everywhere. We are close to Valencia, we're close to Madrid, we're close everywhere to everywhere. So I do believe actually part of that Angelus Apatrida became famous in the early 2000s. It was because we were from Albacete. I think that if we were from Madrid or other big city, maybe it would be like more difficult to to get some recognition, because here as soon as we started playing, Albacete is a small city. Okay, it's like 200,000 people living here, so it's a small city comparing with Madrid or Barcelona. But at the same time, Albacete always got a lot of good musicians, and a lot of great musicians came from here, from the city. Not only from music, but culture itself. Here, there are a lot of artists and comedians. Even one of the best players in the world, Andres Iniesta, is from Albacete as well.
Yeah.
So there was always something special with the culture here in Albacete. When I was a kid, there were shows everywhere. There were a lot of metal bands here, and I was always saying like, okay, I just want to make a band and play like these guys here in Albacete. So it took us like only a couple of years to get some recognition here in our town. And after that, we got it. Like, it was so easy that someone from abroad, from outside Albacete, listened to the band, and the first time we played, for example, in Valencia and Barcelona, was supporting Warcry. Warcry is a very, very big band in Spain. So in 2004, we already got that opportunity because we were from Albacete and we were doing something different. And I know there were other bands in Madrid and Sevilla and Valencia that they were doing kind of the same, but it was really difficult to get known because there are like, I don't know, 1,000 bands like you, but we were almost unique here in this town. So it was easy to get the recognition outside our city. So I don't know. I don't think that nowadays it really matters. I think that nowadays, with all the globalization and with internet, social media and stuff, I think that everybody got the same opportunity if you are from Madrid or if you are from a very, very small village in the south of Spain or in Galicia or whatever, or in Finland or Peru or whatever it is. I think that thanks to that, if you know how to use your tools, the tools like I said with the artificial intelligence, if you know how to use those tools in your own profit and in your benefit, I think it doesn't matter where you come from. It's just playing in a band and starting a new band. It's something I would say like really complicated, especially nowadays. But I see it every day that there are coming new bands and more bands that are becoming famous, younger bands, because got something new to present to the world. So my only message to a newcomer for that is like, just play what you feel, play what you like, and it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter anything else. Is that if it's true and you are doing it in the right way, just try not to be pretentious. Try not to be like mark any goals. Like I want to be there. I want to do this. Just try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Try, be yourself.
Avoid comparison.
Exactly. Because if you don't have that kind of pretentious things or goals, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Of course. And everything that will happen to you in the future will be always very good and will be always a surprise. This is what happened to us always. We never got any pretentious things and any pretentious goals. Like we need to be one of the best bands here. We need to go on this. Or we need to tour. Blah blah. Nothing. Never. And still don't have that. I mean, we're coming from having #1 in Spain with the latest album. Well, it's not going to be a problem if we're not #1 again.
#1,
you know? We don't have that pressure. We know that we need to improve, and it would be great to sell more records. And actually, we're gonna sell much more records with this one because the numbers already are really, really good. But it's nothing like it's not gonna be a problem if we're not #1. It's not a problem if we're not a golden record, that kind of thing. It's not a problem if we're playing stadiums or if we're not playing or if we're not headlining backing. It's not a problem at all. I mean, if it happens sometime, well, of course, it will be so welcome and it will be a very good experience. So since with your feet on earth, I think it's the best you can do. Just try to be yourself and play whatever you want, play what you like and what you love, and try to do things smoothly and see what comes next.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Congrats for your brand new album, Aftermath, and see you soon in Spain, mate.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time, and hopefully see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.